Friends, something very strange is happening in our immediate neighborhood in Sri Lanka. The Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan Niazi, is to visit the island nation between the 22nd of February and the 24th of February. And he was to address the Sri Lankan parliament. Now something happened. Before I tell you what happened to Imran Khan's plans of addressing the Sri Lankan parliament, let me give you a brief background. I'm sure you're aware that Sri Lanka fought a war against the LTT and has been accused of human rights violations. Now, there is a hearing which is going to take place on the 24th of February in the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva. And Pakistan, fortunately or unfortunately, has a vote. Now, what Pakistan has to do with human rights is something that absolutely beats me, but that is not the point. Now, Imran Khan was supposed to go to the island nation, and he will go there, and then he was supposed to address the parliament. Suddenly, what happened was that the Sri Lankans said, no, Imran Khan cannot address the Sri Lankan parliament. Now, there are various rumors floating around. Some say it is because of COVID restrictions, but that is not the real case. The point is that Imran Khan and every Pakistani premier, every Pakistani head of state for the past 73 years, ever since its creation, has got this pressure from the Pakistani deep state to mention Kashmir, whether it is the United Nations or visit to any country whatsoever. Mention Kashmir. And the Sri Lankans, who have good relations with India, thought at the back of their minds that this could be detrimental in the relationship between India and Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lanka is twice bitten by the Chinese. The airport created by the Chinese at a cost of billions of dollars in some godforsaken place in the middle of the jungles of Sri Lanka, where only one plane landed since 2014. And then the Hambantota port, which they created, which is a loss-making port, and now the entire land of the Hambantota port, including the port structure itself, is in Chinese occupation for the next 99 years, and it will be with the Chinese for the next 99 years. Now, this is something that has spooked the Sri Lankans. Coming back to the present scenario of Imran Khan's visit, India will not take very kindly to Imran Khan going to Sri Lanka and in their parliament mentioning Kashmir. So, the Sri Lankans said, let us get rid of this embarrassment called Imran Khan Niazi, and that is exactly what has happened. Now, being insulted and humiliated is not new to Imran Khan. He's been insulted by the UAE, he's been insulted by Saudi Arabia, the Europeans, the Americans, the Indians, of course, and now the Sri Lankans. There could be another factor at play here. And do not take this lightly. There could be another factor at play here. Imran Khan has an unbroken track record of going to every single country and asking for money. Yes, my friends, that's true. He will go to Sri Lanka and he will ask for money. There is no other intent of Imran Khan Niazi going to Sri Lanka or any other country for that matter. He has got this history of asking for loans. Now, Pakistan is in a very bad circular debt scenario. Their exports have almost crashed. The prices of oil, food grains, gas, fuel, everything is going through the roof. And the people are looking at bankruptcy. The entire nation of Pakistan is looking at bankruptcy. Imran Khan wanted to use this United Nations Human Rights Council card to leverage Pakistan's position, because Pakistan, as I told you, has a vote, wanted to leverage this position against Sri Lanka. Go there, go to the parliament and mention Kashmir. Mention the Kashmir issue, come back, tell his people that I've gone to this country and thumping on the podium, I have mentioned Kashmir and I've raised awareness about Kashmir on the international fora. This was Imran Khan's game plan. The other game plan was, I'm going to go to Sri Lanka and ask them for money, whatever little Sri Lanka can afford. Now, this is unlikely to happen. How it will impact relationships between Sri Lanka and Pakistan is yet to be seen. But one thing is certain, the world can heave a sigh of relief. There will be no more joking around on the highest podium of Sri Lanka. There will be no more asking for money, and Pakistan will no longer be able to raise the dead Kashmir issue once India has abrogated Article 370 and 35A. Kashmir has fully integrated with the rest of the country. Pakistan has no play here. And I don't think Imran Khan in the future should go to other countries and mention Kashmir, because nobody is interested. And I will tell you why. Nobody is interested because there is a difference between a love affair and international affairs. Now, Pakistan seems confused about the both. Pakistan treats international affairs exactly like it would a love affair. Why do I say that? I say that because foreign policy of Pakistan always has this huge emotional thrust. Now, people don't understand the Kashmir issue. People don't understand it. They've always been saying this is a bilateral issue. Pakistan tried to internationalize it. Pakistan fought wars for Kashmir. Pakistan started terrorism for Kashmir. And Kashmir is the reason why Pakistan is staring at bankruptcy. 3 generations of Pakistanis since 1947 have lived and died with this obsession of Kashmir one day becoming a part of Pakistan. Now, this is like riding a tiger. Imran Khan, Nawaz Sharif, Zardari, or any other prime minister in the past hasn't been able to get off this tiger. Friendship with India will come at a very, very steep price. The deep state of Pakistan, the so-called establishment, does not take kindly to friendly overtures with India. Now, Pakistan is sending its prime minister to Sri Lanka, and the world will wait with bated breath to see what comes out of this visit. I, for one, am sure that nothing will come out of this visit because he is not being given, Imran Khan Niazi is not being given the parliamentary platform to address the Sri Lankan parliament. He's not going to be able to address them. And what he's going to do at best is ask for money, because Pakistan itself does not have money that it can invest in Sri Lanka. There is no mutual benefit or no mutual interest between the two nations.